Hello, everyone. This is Old School from WhatTheBuck.net. We finally have some news to report of interest from the Buccaneers camp, which is exciting for me. I was accused of apparently being very negative recently in one of my posts. I guess the question was posed by BMW, do you do anything but complain? I actually do a lot more than complain normally. If you listen to some of the previous posts, I tend to be very positive, borderline homerish occasionally on the Bucs, and you kind of have to be that way to have supported them since '76 because we've had some pretty rough times, but I have made no bones about the fact that I have been unhappy with the way the front office has operated since the regime change and been very, very upset with the way they've portrayed the franchise publicly, making us or putting us in a position essentially where we have to overpay for free agents to get people to come down here, and that's not a good spot to be in. We clearly have the rebuilding tag right now, but a brief ray of sunshine occurred yesterday. We did manage to land running back Derrick Ward from the Giants, the wind of Earth, Wind, and Fire, who's a hell of a back. 1,000-yard back in situational use in New York. A 4-year, $17 million contract with $13 million guaranteed over the first 3 years. When you look at the combination of Ward and Graham, and then you got Cadillac coming back from a much more basic patella tendon injury. He was able to come back from a horrific patella tendon injury and look pretty damn good when he got back onto the field. I have a fair amount of confidence he'll be able to come back. I hope he'll come back. He's a good guy. He busted his hump to get back in there. I think that he adds a tremendous amount of home run capabilities when he gets in the game. We saw that in the last game that he played. In fact, on the play when he blew the knee out. So, Derrick Ward, Ernest Graham, you got Cadillac Williams in there. Then you got Clifton Smith, Peanut Smith, who's going to get more looks at running back this year as well. He's pretty shifty, kind of a work-done build. Hopefully we'll see in training camp what kind of hands he's got out of the backfield. That's going to be an interesting piece, too. Now, the interesting piece for Derrick Ward and Ernest Graham is when you look at the offensive line and with the zone blocking scheme that's going to be implemented now, it comes over with the new regime, these cutback runners are going to they should have a good opportunity to get to the second level and wreak havoc in that linebacker level. Both these guys are strong, powerful runners who should be able to make good yards once they get past that front line. So very encouraging, very businesslike. I haven't seen anything yet about a press conference, which I hope they avoid because those have been horrific. And I'm happy with them just not doing it, right? It's good enough. The news carries itself well enough. Derrick Ward came down for a visit. Derrick Ward got a contract. Derrick Ward's a Buccaneer. That's good. Another signing, I'm going to butcher this poor man's name, but Niko Koutouvides, who's a linebacker originally drafted by the Seattle Seahawks. We had our eye on him back in the day. He's sort of a prototypical Bucs linebacker in some ways, which is kind of confusing. It's why we went after him, because it seems like we're trying to get a bigger guy, which is why we cut Cato June. But this is a guy who spent some time with Denver as well. The regime is familiar with him. Apparently very, very fast and very good on special teams as well. So someone who can contribute all around, like most of our linebackers have had to, Quincy Black, Adam Hayward, Geno Hayes, etc. So 2 signings of note. 1 departure of note, Jovan Hay, defensive tackle for the Buccaneers, who we've been fortunate enough to have on the show a number of times. Nice guy, very open and honest guy when we've spoken to him as well. Has gone to the Tennessee Titans, hopefully for the Tennessee Titans anyway, trying to backfill the loss in Albert Haynesworth. That's not to imply that Jovan equals Big Al, right? One of the problems we had with Jovan here was he got a lot of single teams, both this year and last year, or last year and the year before, I guess more appropriately, because Hovan tends to swallow up doubles, which is good. People don't give him credit for it, but that's what he's there to do. Hovan gets the single, and he hasn't been able to fight through those singles, so he signs a pretty decent-sized contract to go to Tennessee. You hate to lose a guy who seems like a good enough dude, had a lot of raw talent. Hopefully a defensive line coach can get a hold of him and get him to the point where he can actually break through to that next level, except for when he plays us. So we wish Jovan well. We now have even more glaring hole in the defensive tackle position. We've got, holdovers like Dre Moore from last year that we can pull in. Greg Peterson, who's shown signs from time to time, but he's a little bit undersized, good motor. We're going to have to do something to get some talent in here on the defensive line, not just in the tackle, but at the end spot, and start really paying attention to the defensive side. Whether that means trading down our first pick and getting more picks, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens here in the next couple of weeks as far as how the team actually begins to structure that defense. But right now on offense, you got the signing of K2, which, like I said, talent-wise, it's an upgrade. I just don't know that we necessarily needed to upgrade tight end, but you can't deny the fact that the guy's got skills when he's on the field. So you upgrade your tight end spot. We got Antonio Bryant franchise, so you got your X covered. You got Michael Clayton back in camp, and personally, I can't stand the guy, but you got to hope he's got the physical attributes to get in there and contribute if he can get his head on right. He's a guy who should be able to go better than the 35 to 40 catches a year he's been getting. If he gets some more looks and actually can contribute, hopefully get 60 catches out of this guy. You know he's going to block downfield and do those things. So on the offensive side of the ball, I think he's gotten better. And then obviously Derrick Ward as well. So strong young offensive line. I got a lot of faith in Luke McCown. I'm not quite sure why. I watched him in training camp for a number of years. I think he's got the raw ability. I know that a lot of people want the Bucs to still go out and make a move for Cutler or a marquee quarterback. They definitely need to bring depth in, I think, other than Brian Griese. And I think we'll probably see him move for that. Josh Johnson is still at least a year or two out from being a viable competitor unless he shows up some amazing stuff in OTAs. So offensive side, I think they've done some fair work to address. Defensive side needs a lot of work. We met with Jabari Greer yesterday. Phil Buchanan was up in Detroit. I hope he's not dumb enough to go to Detroit. But cornerbacks are definitely getting good money this year, and we're going to have to see what we're going to do to help out our corners. We got Albert Mack. We got Aqib Talib. Rondé Barber's probably going to the nickel, best case. But past that, man, we don't have a whole lot in that depth chart. So upside, good news. Derrick Ward is a good signing. It was effectively done and knocked out. So kudos to the front office for doing that, and also kudos for not having a press conference. And hopefully the rest of the week we'll have some more information for us. Check us out, not this week, but the week after. That will be the 10th of March, my birthday, actually. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. I can't look at the calendar. The 12th of March, Thursday, we'll be back live at www.whatthebuck.net. Thanks for tuning in.